Welcome back to another episode of Nourish the Mind, where this program speaks about the mind, the body, and the spirit, that all three work together to bring us into alignment. So if you have been with me for a while, guys, welcome. Thank you all for your continuous support. If you're new to this channel, thank you so much for joining in, and I hope that you'll stay right here. All right, so we're jumping in. This week, we're talking about the perspective of trials. This means, how do we look at trials when trials come? So the perspective of trials. How do you look at trials when trials come? Trials, struggles. How do you see struggles when struggles come? Do you see struggles talking in a way like, why is this happening to me, God? Why am I going through all of this? Why so much? Why all at once? Why can't you take it? You're God, you're the creator of all things. So why can't you just take these things and recreate it and just make them better? Why can't I just remain in peace and comfort? Why different things have to be coming this week? Other things have to be coming that week. Why me? All right. So if you're somebody that speaks like that, then I guess you're somebody a little bit like me, because that used to be how I used to look at things, from a victim point of view, a victim perspective, until I learned the godly way of looking at things, the godly perspective. When trials come, and I see them, once you trust and believe in the creator of all things, our God, the Most High God. I'm not sure who you believe in, but once you believe in the Most High God and you trust in Him, you start to look at trials and struggles from a godly perspective. A godly perspective is looking at it from, okay, so this is what's happening now. What is the lesson that this is going to teach me? Right? Why is the reason for this happening? There must be a reason for it. That's why it's happening. You know, let me see if I can come up with a solution to what's happening. Let me see how best I can work my way through this particular situation. Let me see how I can get some tools and learn to navigate, to dig my way through, to climb my way up, to get over on this mountain. And you know what? Everything is going to work out, because I believe that whatever is happening right now, God is in the midst of it. And at the end of the day, it's going to be for His glory. Guys, that is the godly perspective. That is the perspective of looking at trials from a godly point of view. When you start to look at trials from a godly point of view, you start to see that things didn't come in your way to break you. Situations didn't come in your way to keep you down. And it certainly didn't come in your way to kill you. It came in your presence, in your way, to strengthen you, to mold you, to shape you, to recreate you, to empower you, to inspire you, to create a new and a right spirit within you. So things come to make you better. Do you know how diamonds are processed? Diamonds go through a very arduous process, very arduous, before they can come to looking so beautiful and so spectacular. They have to go through a process. And the process that they go through is actually refining them in the moment. It's actually taking away something that's hard, crusty, no longer needed, and bringing out the beauty of something. So trials come into our way to strengthen us, to lift us up, to mold us and shape us, and to show that inner beauty, what God can do in your life, and to inspire. Somebody can look at you now and say, wow, if God can do this for this person who used to be this way, then imagine what God can do for me, because I'm already good. So I only can get better. So if you look at it from that particular point of view, then you'll start to pull yourself away from the victim perspective and transition, step over into the godly perspective of how you look at things. And believe you me, take it from me, that's when things starts to change. That's when real change starts to come, because real change doesn't come from outside. No, 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 no. Real change starts to come from within. Real change starts here. Your strength starts here. Your wisdom starts here. Your knowledge starts here. And whatever you get in here, that's what plays out there. So you start to grow. So you can start to look at struggles from, I learned something. I grew through something. I went through something and I came out on this end, which is the better end, because I chose to look at things from a godly perspective. The victim perspective will weigh you down, make you feel heavy, cast you down, keep you down, tie you down, you can't get up out of bed, all of them, there's something there. And the godly perspective will push you up and elevate you and strengthen you and keep you going. There was this fire that took place in Paradise in California. A big fire was on the news a couple of years ago, killed a lot of people. But there was a movie that came out of this terrible thing that happened, and it was a true movie, true inspired movie about this school bus driver. He was a school bus driver that was down on himself, very hard on himself. He was divorced. He had a sickly mom that he was taking care of. He had a son that they just didn't have a good relationship. His son basically like disliked him. He had guilt from not having a good relationship with his dad, and his dad died and they weren't able to make amends, so he didn't get to any closure from that. So he had all of that, and plus he was like a high school dropout, so people didn't really respect him, and he got a job as a school bus driver, by the way, and he was just struggling through, always late, always missing appointment, just always one thing after the next with him. And the day that the fire came, he was the only driver that was on that particular route. And they were calling him like several times because there was a school on that route. There were no other drivers on that route to get those kids. And he was like the only one that was in the midst of it. And they kind of look at him as an unreliable person, but he was the only person in that moment, right? And the fire came, and his family, his mom and his son, they were in jeopardy because the fire was going towards their home as well. And here he is now placed in this situation where he's going to have to choose between his family and getting a bunch of kids from the school. So he took the call and he decided that he's gonna go and get the kids, and he's just praying that he'll get to his family in time, but he's gonna go and get the kids first priority. So he went to the school, got the kids, and on their way to the safety zone where he's supposed to put the kids at, the fire got so bad. It was so bad that he had to navigate and take a couple detours here and there, and took some road that he knew when he was a child. And the little back road and anything there. Yes, he had to take some of those roads. And he was on one of those particular roads, and there were people coming towards him. And those people were running from fire that was ahead of him. He was going towards fire. He's running from fire and he's going towards fire. And that people were telling him, go back, go back, go back. There's so much fire at this point. We can't go that way. We have to go that way. And he's saying, but I'm coming from that way. And there's so much fire that way. And the people just went about their business. Now he was in a pickle or a predicament, we call it. he was in the middle of the fire. This man was trapped in the middle of the fire with about between 15 to 20 kids in the middle of the fire. And there was a time when I think he kind of gave up a little bit because it was just too much for him. And he gave in. He stopped the bus and he was just there sitting down. And there was a teacher, because there was a teacher on the bus that was keeping the kids calm and keeping them, stable and organized. And he spoke to the teacher that fires behind them, fires ahead of them. He doesn't know what else to do. They just have to sit there, sitting ducks, just pray in that moment. And they rested. They just sit there calmly in that moment while the fire took time closing from the front, coming from the back, coming from both sides. And they were just there, sitting there with the kids. And then the fire started to come. Fire started to come from different directions, and he hit the wheels, and he got out of the bus, and he started to hold the fire and hold fire here and there. And then when he looked at the kids, and it's like a realization hit him. Am I gonna just sit in this situation and just watch these kids burn to death without trying something? The man get in the bus, and it's like a spirit or something came over him, and this man just started to drive full speed ahead. Fire taking down trees here, fire coming from this side here, stone with fire coming from that angle, and this man just kept going. It's like his focus was just on the road, just navigating every little thing that was coming at him. He just kept on going, and he kept on going. And he drove till he drove right through. It's almost like he drove out of one world and into the next, because when he came out of the fire, he came out into a beautiful day, the prettiest sunshine you ever see. Everything was just so magical and in place. And he kept driving. He couldn't believe it. He was wondering where he was. And when he stopped the bus and he looked back and saw the dark cloud and saw all of that fire and the things that he came through, the man, you just have to say, thank you, God, because he couldn't believe that he made it through. And he just decided right then and there to change his life, right? And not only that, his family was spared because he took the initiative to go and help these kids, and somebody else went ahead and took out his son and his mom from the house and helped them. And that man decided to change his life, like just do the best that he can do and become what he needed to become, because all along he wanted to be a teacher, but he settled for a school bus driver. So eventually went on and became a teacher. So because when you look at it, he didn't use his circumstances right then to continue living his life that way. There was a big trial that happened, and he could have just stay in it and cook in it and die in it, but he kept through, and he kept pressing through, and he kept pushing through, and he came out on top. So when things happen to us, and we can keep pushing through, keep pressing through, keep looking at things from a godly perspective, then he can pull us out of certain circumstances, and we can see that it was never meant to break us. It was actually meant to strengthen us, and our story maybe later on become an inspiration to others. Who to tell? We never can tell, right? We don't know. But when we look at things from that perspective, it changes everything. It gives you a level of gratitude, going through stuff. It gives you a level of peace going through stuff. You get some wisdom going through it. You get some understanding going through it. And at times you learn things while you're going through it. So our trials come, our struggles come. It's not to break us. It's actually most times to make us stronger when we look at things from a godly perspective. All right, guys, I'm gonna keep it there. And guys, continue to like, continue to subscribe, continue to share, Until next time, I say peace and love.